Yes, ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to the legendary Benson Henderson up against Patrick Habirora at PFL Brussels. Looking forward to going to Belgium.
Oh, absolutely, man. Belgium's gonna be fun. Just out there for the media tour. The fans were awesome. It was a good atmosphere. Pretty knowledgeable fans. So I like that a lot. So I'm pretty excited.
And you're going to be taking your daughter to Disneyland Paris?
Taking all four of my wildings. I got three boys and my baby girl, my daughter. So we're all going out to Belgium to have a good little family holiday.
Is it still surreal for you how your skills have been able to take you to all these different places?
Uh, I think it's nice. I think it's definitely a perk of the career path I've chosen and everything, and then maybe just confirmation that I worked hard enough. I did a good job. I did the things you're supposed to do, all that stuff. I'm able to enjoy these kind of things with my little pack of wildings.
I've been enjoying your fight since
Go
I
ahead.
was
Go
pretty
ahead.
young. You're still here. You're still doing your thing at the highest level. What's the secret to your longevity?
I think just living the right way. I have no secrets. I wish there was like a secret button or a secret pill or something like that, but no secrets. I think just living the right way, eating the right things, not being too crazy. Like, oh, you can't eat this, don't eat that, don't. Because as soon as you repress something, that's when it drives you crazy. Like anytime you repress the thing with diet like kills me is everyone's so like enamored with, oh, I gotta eat the right way, I gotta do this, and they're so like rigid. Like, guys, like if you repress anything, it comes back 100-fold. So the more you repress it, the more you're gonna want that Oreo at freaking 11 at night. The things about eating the right thing in moderation, eating what you're supposed to eat. You know how to eat healthy. You're supposed to exercise. It's nothing crazy. There's no secret. People know how they should live. They know what they should do, how they should eat. They're just doing those little things, and then I still train every day, still practice every day, still live a pretty workout centered life. So I think that helps quite a bit also.
And for you, no drugs, no alcohol, no cigarettes, right? How significant was that decision? And do you remember a conscious decision at a certain age to be like, that's not going to be
Oh
for
yeah, for
me?
sure. Yeah, for me it was when I was like probably like 13, 14, right when I was making kind of those life decisions about like what kind of person I want to be, what kind of man I wanted to be when I growing up and stuff. And I right with my two older cousins, Jimmy and Tommy, who took me to church all the time at that crucial time in a young person's life, deciding what kind of person they wanted to be. They took me to church all the time, and it was there where dedicated my life to God, and I promised him, hey, Lord, if you bless me, and I promise you, it was, the story of Samson. So like Samson was never did this, did that, never cut his hair. They're like the Nazarites. So same idea. I promise God, hey, I'll never drink, I'll never smoke, I'll never have alcohol, I'll never imbibe alcohol, I'll never try any of these drugs and all this stuff. And I think it's worked out pretty well for me.
You started out with Taekwondo, right? And a lot of kids start out in Taekwondo. There's a lot of different theories of to what is the best base for MMA, but do you think that's the best entry point for young people into martial arts? What was your take on it? Because then you went into wrestling, right?
Yeah, I started talking about. I think it was a good foundation, but just more for the self discipline, more for like learning how to conduct yourself in the right way, show respect to yourself, show respect to others, be able to compete and have fun and stuff, but still kind of get after it a little bit. So talking about, I think is great for all those sides. Almost not the exact opposite, but not just fighting, punching, kicking. Like those are all good too. They're all very solid. But more for the self discipline aspect of Taekwondo. I love it for that reason. And then getting into wrestling, I think the wrestling, for sure, probably the best base for mixed martial arts because you can be the best Muay Thai, nastiest, 102-0 and 97 knockouts and amazing. But if you don't got that wrestling takedown defense, somebody's gonna take you down real quick, and then you'll be pretty sad. You can be the best jiu-jitsu guy in the world, have a world, 10-time world jiu-jitsu champion, but then you can't take the guy down, and so then you're stuck standing up, getting punched in the face 75 times, and so that's not good either. So I think wrestling's for sure. I'm a little biased, but I think wrestling for sure is probably the best base if you want to be good at all at MMA.
Talk to me about the Belgian bomber. You've got so much experience on paper. You know, this guy's 8-0, 25 years old. But this isn't your first rodeo. It's not the first time that you faced a killer you're maybe not supposed to beat. So do you enjoy the stakes?
Yeah, I think fighting a young up and coming tough kid, 8-0, very tough. I like him. I watched his film and everything. He's really tough. I think he's really good. But I think it's just a little bit early in his career. He is should have a ton of confidence. Any fighter should have a ton of confidence. Should be, when I was 25, they would ask me to fight Andrei Arlovsky, UFC heavyweight champion at the time. Would I would say yes, absolutely. I 100% believe I'm gonna beat Andrei Arlovsky. Let's go get it. Let's go do it. Would in reality I have beaten Andrei Arlovsky? Absolutely, probably not. But in my head I would 100% believe that. And right now, Patrick, undefeated, he has that belief in himself. He has 100% belief in that he can go out there and he can beat this guy, beat that guy. He's gonna be the best 170-pounder on the planet. It's on his coaches, on his training partners, on his management to say, hey kid, let's take these step at a time, small steps. We'll work our way up. We'll get there, but let's take those small steps at a time. I think Patrick, his team, they're taking a big jump, a big leap to go from fighting the level of guys he was facing before, to facing somebody of my experience level, what I've accomplished, what I've done. I think they're really hoping that I'm not as athletic or not as strong, I think they're just hoping I'm older, and they're gonna have a good name to put on the records, and God bless them, good luck. That's a good idea. The idea behind that is great. It's solid, but we'll see how it turns out. Tune in May 23rd. I'll make sure they're gonna think otherwise.
Yeah, do you think he's trying to build his name off you, especially as the hometown guy? Like, do you enjoy going into someone else's arena and upsetting the script?
Oh, absolutely. I think going into the hometown is always nice. It's always fun. The one that I've done it a bunch of times, a ton of times. But the biggest one that sticks out to me is I think most recently was Peter Queally in Dublin, and that place, man, the arena was literally shaking. It was just, it's a good feeling going there. It had the booze, the crowd, bunch of crazy, wild Irish drunk fans, like just screaming their heads off.
So, where do you think the fight gets won and lost in terms of your style versus his style?
I think it's actually going to come down to whoever can establish their dictate the pace, the tempo, the style of fight early on. Whoever can set that initial momentum for, okay, I want the fight to take at this pace. I want the fight to be this style. I want it to be a point fighting fight where we kind of stay at distance and we just kind of touch and touch and touch. We do 15 minutes of that. Oh, I want 15 minutes of grappling. Oh, I want 15 minutes of, on the cage, up against the cage, beating them up. Oh, I want 15 minutes of being out in space. So I think whoever can take the fight to where they want it to go early on, the first 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes of the fight, set the pace, dictate the tempo, dictate the style of the fight. I think the fight will probably go that person's way.
You also had a match with our man. He's been a busy guy. He's been doing everything outside the UFC right now. Do you think he's been a bit hard done by? And is he the guy to be the biggest test for the belt, do you think?
I think he's up there. If he's not the next guy there, I think he's up there. He's done a good job staying busy, getting after. I love that he loves to compete. You can tell, like, he just likes to get after it, whether it's wrestling, whether it's jiu-jitsu competition. I like that he likes to compete and likes to get after it. I think it's great. It speaks well of him as a person. I feel like, I think that our grappling match didn't go my way, but he got his hand raised. But all the best to him.
What was it like for you being, you were one of the first ones, like big names from the UFC to jump to Bellator, then becoming a world champion? That must have felt pretty justified, right?
I was cool. I like being able to leave the UFC like on a win streak. A lot of guys who had left UFC were leaving because they had lost and they wanted to renegotiate, and the UFC didn't renegotiate. But I left the UFC on a win streak, so I was happy about that. Happy I was able to kind of dictate and choose my own path. I think a lot of guys talk pretty badly about the UFC. Like after they leave the UFC, they talk pretty badly because they feel jaded on how they left the UFC. I don't really feel jaded. I don't really feel that bad about how I left the UFC. It was more on my terms. So I have a great relationship. I go there all the time. I happen to see Dana, I shake his hand, say what's up, man. How's it going? Good to see you. So I think we have a good relationship. I think we have a good relationship, and I have no ill will. I have no jaded perceptions of the UFC because I was able to leave the UFC on my terms.
Do you think we romanticize your generation too much, or is there not the same level of stars and characters that there were when you were there?
That's actually one of the things I dislike the most. The braggadocious, loud, smack talking. So I'm not a very big fan of that. I do think it's a gift and a curse, right? The pros and cons. There's pros to everything, there's cons to everything. Pros to everything, there's cons to everything. The pro to a sport being bigger and being more known as a entertainment industry, more money, more mainstream sponsors, being on a regular prime cable television, all that kind of stuff. The cons that come with that is that you get more people who simply want the fame aspect. They're not. I feel like, in my own biased, humble opinion, they're not true martial artists at heart. Where they're all about like the martial arts, showing respect to their partners, showing respect to themselves, and then growing themselves, and then showing who they are inside through their art form, which is martial arts. So I think we're missing out on a lot of that. But there's pros and cons to everything, right? You know, like some people do this, but they do it strictly for money. Like, you know, good for you. God bless. Like, it's not bad. It's not wrong. Like people want money. That's awesome. Good for you. You know, some people want to do this, but they want to do this strictly for followers because they want to be popular. They want to be famous. They want to be social media famous. Not my style, but now who cares? Who cares what I think? You know, who cares my opinion? Not my style. Not what I do. Not how I would ever want to be. But, you know, God bless them. God bless them, the path they've chosen, and them wanting to be a social media star over being perhaps the best fighter they can be.
Do you enjoy watching MMA?
Not so much, not anymore. I used to watch MMA quite a bit, even like smaller local regional shows. But man, I've been doing this long enough. I watched so much film on guys. I watched so much fights. Nowadays, I'm like, unless it's one of my teammates, one of my little brothers, one of my little sisters fighting, I don't really watch it too much anymore.
Did you always used to compete with a toothpick in your mouth?
I did, just as a bad habit. I would have a toothpick in after eating lunch or after eating, you know, whatever, a snack. I would have a toothpick in, and then I would forget about it. I would just leave it in, and then I would end up like wrestling, going to wrestling practice, playing basketball. You know, playing pickup basketball when I was in high school and in middle school and stuff like that. And I would just forget about it. Eventually, I keep it in for wrestling practices in college and stuff. I just leave it in, tuck it away, continue on to MMA. But after I had my first kid, after my first son was born, because my mom always told me to take the toothpick out. I'd be running around the house with the toothpick in, and I'd be like 9 years old. It's like, I go. She's a little short, like 4'9" Korean woman. I go, hajima, like stop, take the toothpick out. Don't do that. Stop, don't do that. And I would laugh at her. I'd be like, oh, don't be silly. I'll be fine. It's okay. No big deal. And then when my first son was born, I was like, oh, he's going to be like 3 or 4, see me with the toothpick in my mouth, and he's around with the toothpick in his mouth. Oh, my God, he's going to choke me sometimes. It'll be all my fault. So I consciously kind of stopped the toothpick thing quite as much after my first son was born.
So you had a toothpick in your mouth like in the UFC?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was just a bad habit. I would just forget about it.
I feel like that should be in the video game. Wow. What do you think of the Nate Diaz Mike Perry fight and like the introduction of MVP into the MMA space? Do you think that's good for the game?
Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry?
Yeah.
MMA or boxing?
Yeah. MMA.
MMA? Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Yeah. That could be a good fight. That could be a bloody war is what it could be. I think they're going to stay standing. I think Nate, if he was smart, he might try and take it to the ground. Perry's pretty good, I think, wrestling takedown defense, you know. But if they were smart, he'd get to the ground and do some jiu-jitsu right away. But I have a feeling they're just going to stand there and punch each other a whole lot. It might be fun to watch. I might tune in for that one. I would tune in for that one for sure. And
what about Gina versus Ronda after all these years? Were you surprised they made it?
Oh yeah, I am surprised they finally made that happen. I think it's great. I think it's great for women's MMA, great for MMA, great for sport, great for the fighters being able to make money outside of the UFC. I think it's awesome. Capitalism. You need other companies. You need the competition for capitalism to work. So I think it's great. I think it's awesome. I just hope that Gina has been training the entire time. Like I retired, whatever, 3-4 years or something like that. But I was literally training every single day. I was still in my gym, still helping my little brothers, little sisters on my, trying to help them get to UFC, live their dreams. So I was literally in the gym the entire time. I never stopped training. I hope Gina, I hope Ronda too, that they are actually training. Like they were actually training the whole time. It wasn't like, oh hey, here's this opportunity to make $10 million, and like, okay, I'll start training now. And they've been training for the past 6 months. Like if that is the case, it won't look very good. It won't. The product they bring to the table will not look good, and that's the most important part. What you bring to the table, the product you bring, the product you display has to look good. You can have a fancy package, it can be fancy, wrapped all nice and super fancy wrapping, a bunch of display. You can spend $20 million on production, have the best cameras, the best lighting, have this and have that. But if what you bring to the table is crap, people aren't going to tune in the next time. You can almost have like not very good production, not the very great this, not the best this, not the best camera guys. Have pay some friends to be your camera guys. But if you get great product on the table and the guys get after it and they freaking scrap, then people will tune into that.
You've had some great rivalries down the years. Anthony Pettis, I think you were going to run it back with him in the GFL. If you could have anybody come to the PFL and run it back with them, who would it be?
Yeah, Pettis sounds good. Pettis, Michael Chandler, anybody, everybody who I lost to, I want them again for sure. Jason Jackson, Andre Koreshkov, all those guys beat my butt. Like, oh, I want to see you guys again. Like, if we get older, I'll be 95. But hey, let's play a game of chess. Let's get after it. I'm gonna beat your butt in a game of chess. So I don't care. I will always, forever, all those guys. Mad respect to all of them. Much love to all those guys. Who got their hands raised against me. But of course, I want them again for sure.
How sweet was your win over Nate Diaz, seeing what he then became and how big of a name he then became as a competitor? Was that satisfying?
I'm happy I won. I'm glad I won. I was happy winning that fight as I was winning the Gilbert Melendez fight. I was happy winning that fight as I was for winning the Frank Yeager fight. Like every fight is knew this or knew that. Like, oh, I'm really happy because of this reason. I'm really happy because of that reason. So for sure, I was really happy that I won the Nate fight because because the stove is on right now. I was happy I won the Nate fight because I was back in my hometown of Seattle, Washington. So I had like 3,000 friends, old high school teammates, friends and family. So I had a ton of people at that fight. So I was really happy that I won that fight because it was in my hometown. But at the same time, I was happy I won the Gilbert Melendez fight because I was able to propose to my wife after I beat Gil. Beating Frankie for the first time. That's really awesome to beat Frankie, win the belt for the first time. So every fight was has a special place in my heart when you get that. So many
milestones. I mean, you beat Gamebred as well. He's supposed to be coming back to the UFC. Who do you think would be a good opponent for him?
Oh, good for him. Jorge, that was a good fight I had against him. I was able to instill my will, to do my game plan early on. I think he comes back to UFC. I think he has a ton of interesting fights, a ton of interesting matchups in the UFC for him.
Who would be a fun one, do you think?
For Gamebred? I say give him a youngster. All the people, all the old guys want to see them against other old guys. I don't really like that. Let's put him against a youngster. Put him against somebody up and coming who thinks that they got what it takes. No, I can beat Gamebred. Let me go get him. Let me get Masvidal. Yeah, sure. You want that? Let's find out. Sign the contract. Let's find out if you really want that.
I like that. Well, you've got a youngster coming up yourself. We can't wait to see it. Benson Henderson, you're a legend of the game. Great to finally speak to you after all these years. Maximum respect.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you.